fructose, how bad is for your health? So this is as you know, is a very hot topic, because more and more data, as I'm going to show you in these short videos, suggesting that fructose, independently of calorie intake, is a major contributor to the epidemic of obesity, fatty liver disease, and dyslipidemia, and most likely also it contributes to cancer quite substantially. Now, in this video, I'm going to present some data about the pro-inflammatory gut microbiota related changes and intestinal modifications leading to this metabolic syndrome, obesity, diabetes, cancer, pandemic. And I'm also present data on, summarized data on the content of fructose in different beverages and foods, so that you have an idea of what are the worst and best food in terms of fructose content. And I decided to start this video, to do this video, because of this paper that has just been published in Nature, a very, very interesting paper by Taylor and colleagues, explaining why most likely an excessive consumption of fructose causes obesity and cancer. So in this paper, as you can see here, in mice, these researchers found that a high fructose, high sugar diet basically increase intestinal villus length, so the surface, the absorptive surface of the gut, by 25 to 40% in the jejunum. Okay, so basically the surface through which your intestine is absorbing nutrients is increased by fructose, big ways. As you can see here. And also the serum triglyceride after a meal is also highly increased by the high fructose diet, promoting therefore obesity by boosting the ability of the gut to absorb nutrients. Okay, and here, as you can see here in this cartoon, this is a normal villi, and the high fructose diet is increasing the surface and the ingestion of nutrients. And another important finding of this paper is that the epithelial cells, they are protected against the typical apoptosis induced by hypoxia when they are at the top of the villi, and these could explain why there is an increased risk of tumor, colon cancer. As you can see here, high fructose diet, the number of total number of cancer, and the size of this tumor is higher in animals, in an animal model of cancer, in colon cancer, DDM, so colon cancer. So very, very interesting paper. Now, a high fructose diet, a high fructose intake is not only increasing the risk of obesity and visceral obesity, but is also increasing steatosis, liver steatosis. It is a major problem leading to NASH, to steatohepatitis. There is a very serious disease growing very, very fast in developing and developed countries, because, as we will see, a high fructose diet is causing an increased lipogenesis, dyslipidemia, and it also increasing oxidative stress and ER stress, and is also increasing the level of uric acid. And especially there are several studies showing that both in men and women, high consumption of fructose is increasing the risk of having high uric acid and therefore gout. But high uric acid levels and oxidative stress and visceral fat and ectopic fat deposition is also causing insulin resistance. That is as I explained in previous videos, is a main factor in the promotion of many chronic disease, diabetes, cardiovascular, several types of cancers, and aging itself. Okay. So you have to understand that we have been designed to cope with small amount of fructose. So the typical amount of fructose, especially in certain fruits, can be managed and can be taken up, broken down by intestinal cells. It is only when our body is exposed to an excessive amount of fructose, typically from soda and other food rich in fructose, that this system, this intestinal cell system, is overwhelmed, and the absorptive capacity is overwhelmed, and therefore the fructose leaks into the bloodstream, going to the liver, where it causes a lot of problems, or it leaks also, or it leaks from the small intestine into the large intestine, into the colon, where it changes the gut microbiome, leading to dysfunctional gut health and microbiota that is promoting inflammation. Indeed, in this interesting paper published in Nature Metabolism in 2020, as you can see here, animals that were fed a high fructose diet had more liver steatosis and hepatitis, significantly more, and also had an increase in tumor volume and other tumor characteristics. And this is mediated through basically an increase de novo lipogenesis and a disruption of the intestinal barrier, allowing endotoxin produced by bacteria to enter into circulation and reach the liver, where the combination of increased lipogenesis and endotoxin is triggering an immune activation of macrophages, leading to liver steatosis and increased risk of liver cancer. Okay. Now, what are the foods that are very rich in fructose? Well, the big ones are all the sodas, all the sodas and fruit juice that are very rich in fructose. 250 ml of one of the typical soda contains 50 grams of fructose. Apple juice, 250 ml, 14 grams, and the grape juice is 19 grams for 250 ml of this juice. Then we have honey. A lot of people, they are abusing of honey. So honey is very rich. 1 tablespoon of honey contains 8.6 grams of fructose, and many of these yogurts, these sweet yogurts, not the plain, but the sweetened yogurts may contain up to 11 grams of fructose for 250 ml. And then high fructose corn syrup is used everywhere. You find it in the for example, burgers, because a combination of fructose fat and salt and other additives, they are increasing the taste. It becomes addictive. But you can have 5 grams of fructose in one burger, and fructose is also 1 tablespoon of ketchup is 1.5 grams of fructose. Many of these dressing, these salad dressing, these awful artificial salad dressing can contain 1 tablespoon, 2 grams of fructose. As you can see here, and many other ones. Now, all these pre-packaged food, contain a lot of fructose typically from corn, and as you can see here, the consumption of fructose has exploded over the last 30, 40 years, and this is a real problem. Again, as I said, many fructose can be contained in packaged sweets, including candy, cookies, muffins, and other desserts, in packaged fruits, applesauce, cranberry sauce, dried fruit snacks. The commercial ones may contain high fructose corn syrup. Crackers, you should read the labels very careful. Some of these crackers contain, lots of fructose. Prepackaged meal, like including some pizzas and other prepackaged meals. Granola and nutritional bars, again, protein bars, even some healthful snacks that they are sold as healthful snacks contain. They are very rich in these high fructose corn syrup. So read the label again. Peanut and other nut butters may be addition with fructose, and especially the bun from and other breads may contain high fructose corn syrup. So read carefully your labels before you buy these ultra processed foods that are bad, not only for the fructose, as I explained in the videos, but fructose is one of the major nasty guys. Now, again, fruit contains fructose. So there are fruits that have a very low content of fructose, and as you can see here, this is the content in grams of fructose. So apricot and cantaloupe, so all the berries, they have a very low content of fructose, and pineapple, strawberries, and blackberries, nectarines, peaches, plums, they have low content of fructose. So very, very healthy. But there are some fruits that have a very high, a medium high level of fructose. As you can see, 1 kiwi contains 4 grams of fructose, but nothing compared to 15 grams of fructose or 19 grams with 250 ml of fruit juice or soda. But still, one kiwi contains 4 grams of fructose. Raisins, one small box, around 30 raisins contain 4 grams. Watermelon, 1 cup of diced watermelon, 5 grams. Interesting, a medium apple contains 10 grams. Pears, 1 medium pear, 11 grams. Dates are kind of high, half a cup of dates is 14 grams, and dried figs, 17 grams, half a cup. Okay. And so here are some examples. So even with fruit, especially these type of fruit here, we have to be careful. We don't have to overeat these fruits. One fruit is fine, but not over consuming fruit, especially those high in fructose, because it may overwhelm, as I said, the intestinal capacity to deal with fructose, and then the excess fructose is going to leak into the bloodstream or into the colon, causing the problems I just said. Now, as you can see here, this is a study published in 2008 showing that in adults older than 18 years old, the percentage of fructose, 29% comes from beverage, so fruit juice and sodas, and then we have 11% from cakes, pies, snacks, sweets and sugar, and sucrose is 11%, and 2% from 100% fruit juices, and 3% from ready-to-eat cereals, and 18% from whole fruits. In teenagers, 12 to 18 years old, instead of the percentage, almost half of the total fructose intake is from beverages, sodas and fruit juice, and then we have 14% from ready-to-eat cereals, cakes, pies, and snacks, and 13% from fruit or fruit juices. Okay, so this is very bad news. So sodas and all these refined, ultra-processed food, they are a major source of fructose in the diet of teenagers and adults. Now, as I said, the data are suggesting that intestinal fructose clearance capacity controls the rate at which fructose can be safely ingested. In these experiments, you can see here mice that have been injected with fructose. As you can see, is the drunk, so the beverages that are causing a major spike in portal blood fructose concentration. These are the tracers, but food is less so. So it's in this experiment, what as you can see here, they gave 2 grams per kilogram body weight of fructose in one shot, or 0.5 grams per kilogram of fructose in 4 different injections. And as you can see here is the one shot of 2 grams that is really overwhelming the capacity of the intestine cells to break down fructose. Instead of, if you divide the fructose in different parts, you manage the leakage of fructose in the portal blood is much less, and also in the liver it's much less, and the concentration also of lipids it's less. So just to summarize, the same amount of fructose is more strongly lipogenic when drunk than eaten, or when given as a single dose, as opposed to multiple dose spread over 45 minutes. Fructose induces lipogenesis when its dietary intake rate exceeds the intestinal clearance capacity, resulting in fructose spillover that drives metabolic syndrome. Okay, so this is just to reinforce what I told you before. Now, these are animals data. These are rodents. Now, what we know, what is known in humans? So there are a lot of data. I just selected few interesting studies. This is a paper published by Stanhope in 2009 in JCI, showing that basically in overweight and obese humans, the consumption of fructose beverages, but not glucose sweetened beverages, increase visceral adiposity and lipids, and decrease insulin sensitivity. So in this study, the diet was isocaloric. So basically, these overweight and obese subjects consume glucose or fructose sweetened beverages, provided 25% of energy requirement for 10 weeks. Isocaloric, same composition of macronutrients. It was just the change was in glucose versus fructose. And as you can see here, basically, is really the fructose that is increasing visceral adiposity, total and visceral adiposity, and not the glucose beverages. And again, this is the change in triglyceride, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is during the day, and as you can see here, is really the fructose, 10-week fructose, 8-week fructose, 2-week fructose that is increasing the triglyceride, especially in the after lunch and after dinner. And also is also this small density LDL lipoproteins. They are increased proportionally in those who were consuming fructose beverages. On the other side, and by the way, in the same study, also glucose tolerance and insulin was impaired. The area under the curve for glucose and insulin were impaired with fructose intake, but not with the glucose intake. Now, on the opposite, this is a study published in Gastroenterology in 2017, showing that in kids, this is a study in 14 children aged 9 to 11 years old with obesity and metabolic syndrome, isocaloric substitution of starch for sugar. So basically they exchanged, they reduced sugar and fructose and they substitute with starch for 9 days, significantly reduced de novo lipogenesis, visceral and liver fat, and there was an improvement in insulin kinetics regardless of baseline liver fat count. As you can see here, this is the novo lipogenesis was reduced in all these kids where there was a reduction this was a reduction from 68% to 26%, so a major reduction in the area under the curve. There was a liver fat decrease by from 7% to 3.8%, and the visceral adipose tissue decreased from 123 to 110 cubic centimeters, and there was a significant improvement in insulin. Okay, and in another paper in the same children, also the atherogenic lipoprotein profile improved by substituting starch for sugar in only 9 days. So there was a significant reduction in apoB, apoE, and an increase in LDL size, so large LDL, and a reduction by 68% of small dense LDL. The major one, the more impacted, was the apoC-III. So again, showing beneficial effects by getting rid of fructose in kids in only 9 days. So it's a very quick effect. So message, get rid of these high fructose beverages, fruit juice, and don't overuse honey, and try to limit the consumption of healthy fruits without overdoing fruits, especially those rich in fructose. I hope you like this video. Of course, it's just a summary, is my summary of some of the interesting papers that have been published in the last few years, dissecting how diet, how certain nutrients in combination with calories and other lifestyle can hugely change your metabolic health and in a negative or positive way. And so it's in your hands to change your diet and improve your health. Thank you for listening.